The Cold War, a period of intense geopolitical tension and rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union, dominated global affairs for nearly half a century. But what exactly ignited this prolonged standoff that shaped the 20th century's political landscape? To understand the cause of the Cold War, we must look back to the end of the Second World War and the profound shifts it left in its wake. As the guns of World War II fell silent in 1945, the world found itself divided not just geographically, but ideologically. The victorious Allies, once united against a common enemy, quickly discovered irreconcilable differences that would sow the seeds of the Cold War. The primary cause of this conflict can be traced to ideological, political, and economic differences between the United States and the Soviet Union. The U.S. championed capitalism and democracy, while the Soviet Union advocated for communism and a centrally planned economy. These opposing worldviews set the stage for an enduring struggle for influence and dominance. In the aftermath of the war, Europe lay in ruins, and the balance of power needed recalibration. The United States, emerging as a leading global power, aimed to rebuild a prosperous, democratic Europe, largely through initiatives like the Marshall Plan. This economic aid program was designed not only to prevent economic instability, but also to thwart the spread of communism by fostering political stability through prosperity. Meanwhile, the Soviet Union, under the leadership of Joseph Stalin, sought to extend its sphere of influence, particularly over Eastern Europe, where it established communist regimes as buffers to protect itself from any future invasions. This expansion was perceived by the West as an aggressive bid for control. In 1946, British Prime Minister Winston Churchill famously declared an Iron Curtain had descended across Europe, symbolizing the increasing division between East and West. Stalin's determination to expand communism was met with the United States policy of containment, articulated by diplomat George Kennan. This policy aimed to restrict Soviet expansion through diplomatic, military, and economic means, marking the beginning of a global power struggle. Over the following years, several key events underscored and fueled Cold War tensions. The Berlin blockade in 1948 was a stark confrontation as the Soviet Union attempted to cut off Allied access to West Berlin. This crisis was countered by the Berlin Airlift, a massive effort by Western nations to supply the city from the air, demonstrating the resolve of the West to resist Soviet pressure. Another significant factor in the Cold War's escalation was the nuclear arms race. The United States was initially the sole possessor of atomic weaponry, a formidable advantage that was short-lived. By 1949, the Soviet Union had successfully tested its own atomic bomb, triggering a frantic, decades-long pursuit of nuclear superiority that brought the world perilously close to annihilation on several occasions. Moreover, the Cold War extended beyond Europe and manifested in various global hotspots, as seen in the Korean War and later the Vietnam War. Both conflicts were emblematic of the U.S. strategy to curtail communist expansion, reflecting the belief that a success for communism in one country might lead to a domino effect across regions. While geopolitical and military standoffs were central to the Cold War, espionage and propaganda also played crucial roles. Both superpowers engaged in intelligence gathering to outmaneuver each other, and massive propaganda campaigns were launched to win the hearts and minds of populations around the world. They projected their own ideologies as the path to a better future while demonizing the other as a threat to freedom and peace. Despite numerous crises, the Cold War never escalated into a full-scale direct conflict between the two superpowers. Instead, it was characterized by a series of proxy wars, tense negotiations, and a constant jockeying for position on the global stage. The eventual thawing of Cold War tensions in the late 20th century can be attributed to various factors, including economic strain within the Soviet Union, the rise of more conciliatory leaders like Mikhail Gorbachev and a global yearning for peace and cooperation. In summary, the Cold War was the product of deep-seated ideological discord, geopolitical maneuvers, and a pervasive atmosphere of mutual distrust between two superpowers vying for global dominance. These elements combine to create a conflict that, while never erupting into direct warfare, fundamentally reshaped international relations and left an indelible mark on history. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the origins of the Cold War. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos like this one.